everyone. I would like to welcome you all to another episode of Divetalks. This episode is going to be with Martin Strmiska, who came to visit us in our factory this morning. So, hi Martin, welcome to Divesoft.
Hello.
Great to having you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Nice. So, welcome to our factory. Martin, for the ones of you who don't know, is a world-known underwater photographer. Martin's work's been on numerous main pages of underwater magazines, and also he's won multiple awards for his underwater photography work. And at the moment, Martin works as a house photographer and editor of Tauchen magazine, which I believe keeps you pretty busy at the moment, yeah?
Yes, right. So it has been with the previous Unterwasser magazine, and now as these two magazines have merged into one, it's the Tauchen magazine I work for, and like you said, it keeps me busy diving and taking pictures, writing articles and stories at the same time.
Your photos are quite unique. I really like them. They are always, to me, they feel like they look different to everybody else's. I don't know why, but they really tend to, stunt me, and I always get really captured in the moment. And I think that's really the sign of being a great photograph, when you really stop and you start staring at the photo and start you start getting yourself into the picture. So to get to that point, how long actually have you been diving for?
I've been diving since 1995. So it sounds so bad. It's almost 25 years.
It's been that's some time. And what about underwater photography? Did you get into underwater photography from the beginning, or?
No, not at all. And I think this pretty much describes where the moment where I started as the actually kind of starting point for me to be a passionate diver. Once I took the camera for a spin, where what I wanted to say is where I am now is because of my true love for diving and for being underwater, for observing marine life. And for that, I had enough opportunity until I got the camera in my hands for the first time as a passionate diver. So I started 2003 after almost 10 years of diving, and 8. And I think it was 800 or 900 dives when I first touched the camera. So I started as a diver and proceeded further to photography practice. So that's the difference to many photographers I know, where they wanted to be photographers before they have become experienced divers.
You're actually one of the lucky people that turn their hobby into your living, yeah? So how did you go through that transition? How did the transition happen from you being a hobby underwater photographer to being a professional photographer?
Yeah, it's been a long, not that long way. It's actually it's been a steep way. Because in 2003, I started as a photographer, but because of that diving practice, the way to approach the marine life and to capture the feelings I've been already I've been already experiencing for some time, it was easier for me to, like I said, to approach then it just required a photography practice to become a certain photographer of certain quality, and that was back in 2005 or 2006 when I submitted those photographs to the magazine Unterwasser at that time, and they were quite impressed. So they sent me somewhere as a photographer along with the editor. We worked on the story. That was my first one, and from that time on, it kept going within this this way. So 3 years, I think it was, my photography practice, whereas my diving practice was initial 8 years.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, that's all those little things that add up and they have to work together to, you know, get to the point of, you know.
Exactly. And I think it's the love. Most of all, I would emphasize, I would describe as the most decisive factor in my way to transform my hobby into, my passion, my hobby into my profession. And like you said, I've been lucky, and I'm very happy that it turned out to work this way for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you do most of your work and most of your diving on closed circuit rebreather, yeah? What led you to go through that transition? Why is the CCR the main platform that you are currently using for underwater photography?
Okay, I remember the initial moment for me to decide to go to the silent world was the silence itself. Because I wanted to approach the marine life and have that time with the animal underwater, kind of people don't belong to the water, so the fish would never think that I'm a fish, of course. But if you're silent, they trust you more, and after 10 minutes of observing you, they kind of go back to their daily routine. So you never get to see that when you are on open circuit. That was my first, the most important point. But then after these other features came along with what I do too. So like extended time and comfort you have when you are underwater. I just like underwater photography, and I need my time and I enjoy my comfort. This is not possible on open circuit. So after the silence, it just where these features what works just equally important for me.
Yeah, I remember I also like shooting underwater, and the photos from before on open circuit. I always remember the majority of the fish that I took a picture of. It's a picture of the tail, the fish swimming away. After the CCR, you actually get the pictures of the fish faces, them facing you.
Yeah.
But you as a photographer, you've got beautiful pictures from all around the world. So you travel quite often. And isn't CCR a bit of a... Isn't CCR logistically more difficult for you to travel with? Because you gotta travel, I guess you gotta take your camera, then you gotta take your gear. Then isn't open circuit easier to travel with than your CCR?
Yes, absolutely it is. And because of those rules getting more and more strict and the expenses climb up higher and higher, with bringing additional stuff or heavy stuff over, it's been tricky actually to travel with CCR than the open circuit, and the more so that most of the time wherever I travel, I can get my rental equipment there, mostly free of charge. But it's not it's open circuit, and it doesn't provide me with that portion of comfort I'm now used to. So I would just describe it as simple as whenever I get an opportunity to take my rebreather, even though I need to kind of a little bit more complicated logistics, when I just get an opportunity, I would bring my CCR, because the results at the end of the day are way different.
Right. Yeah. Well, last time we met in person, it was in February in Dahab. We're doing, that's where you tried the Liberty for the first time. And now the Liberty is actually going to become a part of your work tool and your new dive buddy. So what is it that attracted you to come to the Liberty platform?
Oh well, I try. Like you said, I had an opportunity to try to dive on it, and I liked the unit. I enjoyed the introductory dive with Jacob on it, and it's a nice light unit. So, like you said, I have camera equipment, I have housings, I have lights, strobes, and this comes to up to 40-45 kilos, and I need to, if there is an equipment I can save some weight on, I just go for it. So for me, every pound, every kilo counts, and this is a nice functional unit that is light, hence perfect for me in terms of traveling. So that motivates me, to become a Liberty diver.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You know, every little bit counts, and the Liberty Light, which is that's the unit that we were doing photo shoot about in Dahab. Is it's actually perfect for that. I love the unit myself as well for traveling, because with its weight of just touch over 15 kilos, if you take the head, put it in your backpack, then you've got a 10-kilo rebreather without cylinders. So it's a great benefit.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the quality and everything. Like, this is equally important, but just for me as a very traveling person and photographer, I need to take the weight into consideration as one of the main important factors. That's why I emphasize now that feature of Liberty, which is great.
Yeah. Well, there's also a lot of, as you know, there's also a lot of redundant systems on the unit, and you do a lot of your diving in mines and caves. When it comes to that, what are your upcoming projects that you're planning?
Yeah, so I started it's called like European mine diving or European mine hopping, I would say. So it's a series about diving in European caves and mines. So started in Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland, Germany. So this is kind of like local technical diving. And for that I use CCR exclusively. I've actually never been in the cave on open circuit. So it's a great tool to work with. I think it's the only option for me to go with. CCR in the cave is a must. I can't imagine anything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of the gas, was actually recently listening to a talk, one of our other Dive Talk episodes. This one was with Eduardo Pavia, and he was also saying the comfort that you get from diving CCR in terms of your gas consumption. If anything happened, you got so much more time. Whereas with the open circuit, the primary thing that you worry about is your gas, that you got to conserve as much as you can.
Yeah, and I would point out one more feature which is equally important, and people don't talk about that so often. It's not just the ease of logistics or of the dive itself when you are in the water, but imagine a place where you just come to and you get a fill in your twin set, but then there is no filling station, or the helium is so expensive that you would actually need to spend a lot of money on gases, or just spend so much time with filling your twin set over and over again. And this has happened to me not only once, where this was so counterproductive, so it's not just, and yeah, because I'm a photographer, I'm focusing on material, visual material. I don't think I want to I want to focus on equipment. I want to focus on filling tanks. You know, this I have something else to play with, and that's my camera. So equipment that does the job for me, brings me down, gets me that comfort, keeps me not living, but you know, in that comfort, diving and doing my job is the equipment I want. So
Yeah.
and like I said, it's not just about the time underwater. It's about the whole logistics around the dive, which is sometimes a lot more than the dive itself.
That's true. And also when you talk about it in terms of the cost, exactly as you're saying, you do save some money on carrying less gear for the traveling part, but when you actually do get there, you know, filling a Twin 15 or Twin 18 to do a long deeper dive, actually after, if you go for a holiday that goes for 2 weeks, you actually end up spending on gas the amount that you would save on buying a half of a rebreather, potentially. So I think this is also important to take into consideration. Absolutely. And also these days, particularly if you go into overhead environment and also the safety of not disturbing the environment that you're in, it's a pretty big deal. And I think that the CCRs will have much more of a space for their use in the future.
Yes, it's happening now, and I think it's happening more and more. So like, there's no other way for technical divers but CCR. I don't think that open circuit will somehow get back to its old good times. You know.
Yeah, well, the units are getting more and more reliable, and they're there's, I think with some places the open circuit isn't even allowed anymore because of the extra oxygen that you're bringing into the environment, and that could potentially disturb the environment. You're speaking of environment. You're a shark guy, right? You love sharks, and you try to look after sharks. Yep. So let's talk about your project, your shark project.
Yes, I do love sharks, and I do love shark photography. Not only shark photography, but being underwater with sharks. And because I've been doing this quite a long time, I fell in love with them, and I decided that I need to do something to protect them, to be able to go diving with them in some time in the future. And so I found this project. It's called Ocean's Rockstars, where I sell apparel, I sell t-shirts with my photographs on it, with my designs. And from that amount people pay, I donate 15% to shark conservation organizations, or the organizations that have something to do with shark conservation. So I provide people the opportunity to participate, to make a change, wear something cool, and spread the message, because it's we need to do something, and I feel that need to be the tool. To provide this opportunity for people. That's one leg of the project. Another is involving dive operators who provide diving with sharks to participate as well. That in the way that they sell t-shirts with with my photography, but with their unique motifs, and under this Ocean's Rockstar logo, which is the company I founded, and they provide those 15%. They donate those 15% to organizations involved in shark conservation locally in the area where they provide shark.
That's great.
Diving. So And also I list them as a shark-friendly dive operations. So people know, and these operations have an eco-friendly aspect. How they can actually make the change, help me make the change, or motivate others to make a change.
That's great. It's really great that you're doing something for marine conservation and helping for the future generations to have something nice to look at, and also it's super important to keep sharks around. And so for more information, I guess people can find the information on your webpage of your company,
Yes,
Aquasphere.
Yes. Well, not Aquasphere, but the www.oceansrockstars.com is the website where anybody can order the t-shirt, and those 15% I donate regularly to currently 2 organizations. And now talking about, I think it's quite cool to have a shark t-shirt, but of course that's me. I love those creatures.
I think it's cool too.
But what's behind it is that tangible action, and saving our ocean, saving our sharks. It's because I love sharks. I decided to make a change.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. So you arrived today to Divesoft. This morning we did a little tour around the factory. How did you like the Divesoft factory?
I'm impressed. I love it. I actually wasn't expecting that much of a like technical, high quality production and science and all this. And I'm still overwhelmed with that level of. I'm impressed, truly.
Oh,
I recommend anybody to come and have a look at this. Really.
Well, we're very open in terms of showing people the factory. So if anybody is interested in coming to have a look at what we do, we welcome everyone to come and show them the operation that we do, to show them the professionality and the state-of-the-art equipment that we have, and how we actually manufacture diving equipment, because that's all we do, and that's what we take our pride in. So if anybody, you're always welcome to. So if in the future there is anything that any feedback you have, whether it's positive or negative, anything, we can always look into things, and we always try to improve and get the most out of the technology that we can at the given time. So there is always research going on and always new development. So you're always welcome, man, and anyone that's interested in seeing what we do.
I'm sure I will use that opportunity and share my experience with diving on Liberty, and just make that product even better if that is possible.
No, it'll be a real pleasure to hear your feedback as well, because you're very experienced, and you also use the equipment in your own personal field. So the application of it in your photography field, it'll be also great to hear your feedback from it. So thank you so much for today's interview.
Thank you for having me.
It was great. It was really great having you. So people can find you at your webpage, aquasphere.sk.
Yes, aquasphere.sk for anything related to my photography, online courses, photography prints, and oceansrockstars.com for
oceansrockstars.com
to help the sharks.
Perfect.
Wear something cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode. And for more information, please visit our webpage at divesoft.com or email us at info@divesoft.com. You can also follow us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.